plays into manifestation. Okay, so how it works with your subconscious mind. String theory. Okay, good morning, Jay. So string theory is this theory. Okay, now I'm not going to make it complicated or anything. Okay, string theory, okay, are these tiny little energetic strings that the universe is made out of. Okay, so this is a theory. Okay, it's not pseudoscience, depending on how you explain it. So I'm going to try to explain it in as much science as I can, so that it doesn't get misconstrued as pseudoscience. So I made some notes. Okay, now so string theory, everything in matter. Okay, so energy, matter, energetic forces, gravity, that kind of thing. Okay, all of these things, anything that creates force, anything that creates friction, anything that creates vibration. Okay, so what they're saying is string theory is like it's made up of these little strings. Okay, because when you were in elementary school, probably, well, depending how old you are, right, everything was presented to us as atoms, molecules, that kind of thing. Okay, so this suggests that they're little strings that create the fabric of the universe. Okay, so how does this affect the subconscious mind, and how does it you know, how do you use it with your subconscious mind, that kind of thing, and what's the relevance? Okay, so what the subconscious mind does is, like, think of it like the background music of your life. Okay, so it's like in the background, and that's why it's called subconscious, because it's below conscious level. Okay, so it's down there. Okay, now think of it like the background music of your life. Okay, so beliefs, feelings, patterns, habits, okay, all of these things, right? And it shapes what you notice and what you attract based upon what you believe in the subconscious. Okay, so now how does this, you know, equate out, or how does it play out with string theory? Well, scientists know that the subconscious controls about 95% of your actions. So 95% of your actions are committed to the subconscious. Okay, so here's where they connect, right? So strings theory says that the universe is made of vibrating energy, right? Little strings, okay? Now, your feelings, your emotions all generate resonance, okay, in vibration, which means that string theory, okay, these energetic strings are vibrating. Nothing is static in the universe. Everything is vibrating. If you had the proper microscope, you could look at your hand and you would see your cells vibrating. Everything is moving. Okay, so in string theory, these strings are moving. Now, when your subconscious is thinking good thoughts, okay, first the thought, then the emotion, right? Now it's experiencing a good emotion if it's a good thought, right? Good thought, good emotion. You ever had a good thought where your heart starts pounding like that? Your heart's, you feel your heart start going like that because you're getting excited. Okay, so that good vibe, let's call it a vibe, vibration. Okay, so that good thought led to that good vibe or that good emotion. That emotion carries a vibration. That vibration affects string theory, or the strings, energetic strings. Okay, so it creates a resonance. So in other words, what it's saying is you are vibing with the universe, with that part of the universe. Okay, what part? The positive part, the part you're trying to bring into your world. Okay, it's resonance. So resonance is where you have like two tuning forks and they're both tuned to the same pitch, and you hit one and the other one starts to vibrate. And it works the same way with a guitar. When you hit one string, it'll affect the other strings because it sends out vibration. So the other strings start vibrating a little bit. Okay, if you're a musician, you know this. So this is how they connect. So they connect through your emotions and how you feel. So you begin to attract the way you're feeling. Okay, this is why they say you attract not what you want, but who you are. So if you're a happy person, you attract happy things. If you're an angry person, you attract more of that, right? So it depends, right? And you choose, you have a choice. So yesterday we were talking about happiness is a choice, okay? And it is a choice. You can choose to be happy or you can choose to be angry, but whatever you choose is going to go into your subconscious, and your subconscious will learn. So your subconscious learns anger. Your subconscious learns frustration. Your subconscious learns less than, right? Feeling inadequate, okay? That kind of thing. And what happens when your subconscious learns these actions, what does it do? It gives you more of those situations. It gives you more of those things. Why? Because it's confirming to you that, okay, you feel like this? Okay, we'll bring in more things to validate this, to give you proof of this emotion that you're feeling. You're feeling sad? Okay, I'm going to bring you other things to feel sad about. Okay, now your reticular activating system in your brainstem starts to filter out things that you're not focused on. So if the subconscious focus is now sad, what happens? The reticular activating system is going to filter out happy. It's going to filter out other emotions, but it will show you more sadness. That's what will happen. Okay, it happens all day long. But this resonance between the universe and, say, your heart when it's happy, when your heart is vibrating like that, okay, it affects the field. So string theory are these little strings that make up the field. And now you're making an impression upon that field. And like attracts like. So now you start bringing into your world the things that are conducive to your emotions. Conducive, big word. So things that are relative to the way you're feeling. Okay? Like attracts like. So if you're feeling happy, it's going to bring you circumstances of happy. If we say it simply. Okay? So now if your inner state is happy, it's going to act like a tuning fork. So everything else that's happy, it's going to start to attract, it's going to start to pull it in. Okay, you ever see a bunch of people standing around and they're happy, and then other people join them, and then they laugh, and then they're happy too? Because it's contagious like that, okay? So string theory sounds complicated. It's just the fabric of the universe. It's just tiny little strings. Because a long time ago in science, they taught it to us like molecules and atoms and, protons and neutrons and electrons, those things. So now with string theory, it's a little bit more, it seems a little bit more complicated, but it's really not. So instead of all of those round things that we were, taught in science class, now there's little strings, okay, string theory. It's not really complicated. If you listen to something on YouTube about string theory, yeah, maybe it'll be a little complicated. It depends on who the teacher is. Okay, so my idea of a good teacher is somebody who breaks things down so that anybody can understand. Okay, if you're trying to show somebody how smart you are, like, with your words and with your terminology and with the way you describe things, then you're not really effectively exchanging knowledge and communication. What you're doing is you're seeking to impress the other person, and what happens in that process? Okay, they're going to get confused. Okay, they're going to be like, what? Because they're not familiar with terminology. They're not familiar with what you know. Okay, so when you communicate it, make it simple. Okay, so really simple. What is string theory? It's like the cosmic guitar. Okay, what is the subconscious mind? It's the way you choose your tune. Okay, so you have a guitar, right? So you imagine the universal guitar, and then your subconscious mind is the way you choose what to play. Happy song, sad song, melancholy song, right? All of that. Okay, now what is the manifestation is what? What part is the manifestation? It's the song that plays out in your life. Okay, so string theory is the guitar, the instrument, as it were. Okay, and your subconscious, right? So there's only the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious is the way you choose your tune. Okay, or how you choose it. If it's going to be happy, sad, angry, whatever. And the circumstances that come in are your manifestation. That's the easy way to understand it. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about emotional frequencies again, because this is important to understand. So the highest frequency is love. Okay, that's what Jesus Christ was here to preach. That's what he taught. Jesus Christ only taught two things: love God more than you love yourself, and love thy neighbor as thyself. That's the only thing he taught. Those two things. Okay? He taught a lot of parables. Yeah, he did a lot of examples. He did a lot of stuff, right? Taught a lot of, there's a lot of allegories in the Bible, but there's only two things: loving God more than you love yourself. Okay, now, for the sake of this discussion, we're going to say super conscious for the God category. Okay, so I'm not here to tell you what to believe or how to believe. Okay, but when we say conscious, subconscious, superconscious, the superconscious represents God, universe, Jesus Christ, Allah, however you believe. We're going to put that one label on it. Okay, but Jesus only taught two things: love God more than you love yourself, and then love thy neighbor as thyself. You know, treat others the way you want to be treated, right? And we see this imbalance more these days. Was it always there? Yeah, it was always there. Always there. Okay, when I grew up, yeah, there were people that did not love. And now there's people that love, people that have learned to love, and there's still people that don't love. Okay, that's the balance. That's the yin and yang. Okay, so it's not necessarily wrong that we have people that don't love. It's not a right or wrong thing. It's just as it is. And there has to be a counterbalance. Okay, because if you don't have evil, you don't have good. If you don't have bad, you don't have good. Right? If you don't have dark, you don't have light. One offsets the other, contrasts the other. So is evil necessary? Kind of, sort of. Otherwise, how would you know the difference? But the good news is when you float off into negativity, right, and you stay there too long and it gets too heavy and it gets too involved, right, what happens? You get pushed back towards the light because you're here to experience everything. You're also here to make choices. Okay, so what are you choosing? Right? You know, a lot of people will say, well, I'm choosing good stuff. I only get bad stuff. How come? It's your subconscious. Okay? Your subconscious likes to repeat old stuff. It likes to repeat familiar things. From the time you're born till 7 years old, you are being programmed. You're not even part of consciousness till you're 7 years old. And during that time, whatever happens is deeply embedded in your subconscious because you're just receiving information. Your subconscious is just downloading data, okay, sensory data from everything, from your environment, from your family, from your cousins, from your playmates, everything, okay, all the experiences until you're 7. So think about what happened up until 7 years old, okay, and you will start to understand at a deeper level. You will have a greater level of understanding. Okay, now, when you start to think about these things, it will show itself to you. This is why the formula is ask, believe, receive. Okay, so you go within. Jesus Christ said the kingdom is within. So you go inside, you go within, then you ask, then you believe in what it is you're asking, and believe that you're going to receive the answer, and you will receive the answer. When you ask a question, your subconscious mind is obligated to answer you. Try it. Ask your mind a question. When you're sitting down by yourself, quiet time, me time, just ask yourself a question. Why is whatever like this? Why is this like this? And then just be quiet. Just be. You're going to start feeling the answers. You might hear the answers in your voice, but it's more of a feeling. Okay, you're not hearing voices. If you do that, then you need a professional. That's a problem. Okay, but I'm just saying. I'm being funny about it. But yeah, so that's how you get answers. You have to ask the questions. So many of us don't ask questions. Men, guilty. We don't ask for directions. We don't ask questions. enough questions, right? Why? Because we think as problem solvers, as natural problem solvers, we know the answer, or we can get to the answer just by whatever. We can get to where we're going just by driving around the block 13 times, right? Until the woman that's with us says, why don't we stop and ask someone, right? But because of our male ego, right, we like to just, okay, good, no, I got this, right? Go in circles. Okay, that's a joke too. But anyway, so that's what string theory is, and that's how it plays out in manifestation. Because your heart chakra gives off the biggest vibration. Okay, your heart, when it's beating, you know, like you get excited, it starts beating like that, it's giving off a huge vibration. And that vibration is affecting other things. It's affecting matter. It's affecting the things around you. It's affecting the field. Okay, and when you make this positive impression on the field, you get positivity back. When you make a negative impression on the field, when you're angry, okay, when you project anger onto the field, you will receive like circumstances. You ever been angry and, I don't know, maybe yelled or something, and then something else bad happens, and then you go on a negative roll, and you know things are kind of like you get up late, and then you damn it, you're like that, and then you rush to get ready, and then you spill something in the kitchen, then you rush outside and get in your car, and you get on the road, and you get stuck in red lights, and you yell, or you get mad, or you're frustrated, right? One thing after the other starts going wrong. That's what I call a negative roll. It's a negative spiral, because other things feed into that negativity. What's the solution? The solution is the last thing you would think of. The solution is to stop. But the natural reaction is, I'm late already, right? You're not going to miss another 10 minutes. You're not going to miss another 5 minutes. If you stop for 5 to 10 minutes, the energy will dissipate. It will disconnect. Let's say it another way. You will be released from the field. So now that energetic momentum that you were going through breaks, it separates. You detach. Now you can continue on your way after 5 minutes. Okay, depending on the severity of the negative spiral. If it's really bad, 10 minutes. Okay, if you're already late for work, 5 minutes is not going to mean anything. If you're already late for work, 10 minutes is not a big deal. But it's the last thing we think of. Why? Because we're thinking of catching up. I gotta go faster. And then more mistakes are made. And then more negativity happens. So emotional breaks are very important. Okay, it's important to separate yourself from the field when things start happening like that. When one thing bad after the other starts to happen, there's a pattern. The pattern is energetic. Everything is energy in the universe. Everything. And in order to stop it, you have to disconnect from it. Time out. Okay, just take a time out. It's that easy. So now, when you have that situation, okay, and you take the time out, now when you go back in, right? Go back in where? Go back into your life, okay? So let's say you're having problems, right? And you go on that negative spiral, and then you start hitting all the red lights in traffic. You spilled something in the kitchen, you stumbled in the bedroom, you went to the bathroom, you something bad happened, you spilled whatever. And this negativity is happening. Okay, now you're hitting all the red lights in traffic, okay? Find the parking lot, pull over, okay? Chill for 5 to 10 minutes. Just chill. Just relax. Try to relax. Okay. Try to calm down. Okay. Now, when you get back on the road, guess what? You're in a brand new vibration. You're not in the old vibration because you let it go. Okay. Now you're in a new vibration. You're in a calm state of mind. For the sake of this discussion, I'm speaking of emotions, emotional vibrations. Okay. Now you get back on the road. Now it's a reset. Now you can proceed. Now you can, it's brand new, it's a brand new path. It's a brand new path. And yes, when you get to work later, 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, it's not going to feel good. I get it. But you have to break that pattern. Otherwise, it will bind you. Okay? And you will be subject to more negativity and more accidents and more things will go wrong. Did you ever have a positive spiral? You know, something made you happy in the morning, right? And then you get to work and then something else happened, or maybe you got a bonus, or maybe you got an extra check or whatever you got, right? And then things are good, like all day, kind of, right? And when you come home, you bring that into the house. And what happens? You're nice to your kids, you hug your wife, you give her whatever, husband, wife, whatever, but you're nice to your family. Now that energy comes into the house. So it's very important to have a vibrational break between the time you leave work and the time you get in the house. Because it's not so much about bringing work into the house. If you're having a bad day at work, it's about bringing bad vibes into the house. And these vibes are carried through your mood. Okay? Because if the boss was on you all day and, you know, like that, and then you get home, somebody does the slightest thing wrong, and you're going to be like that. Okay? Easy to understand, right? But those vibrations carry over. Those moods carry over. When you're in a good mood, you go home, everybody gets love. You're in a bad mood, you go home, everybody gets that bad mood in some form. Sometimes it's not that much, right? But it doesn't take much to set you off. Set you off on a bad mood. Okay? Because like attracts like. And things carry over. Okay? Energy is transferred, it's transmuted. And that's the good news. It's transmutable. Transmutable means that you can take a bad mood and you can transmute it into a good mood on the way home. How do you do that? Well, first, put on some good music. Put on music you like. Don't go put on the gangster rap. That's gonna make you. That's gonna prolong the bad mood. Okay? Because then you're gonna feel like a gangster when you get home. You're gonna act like a gangster, and everybody's gonna get gangster when you go home. Okay? So put on something that you like, something that'll make you smile, or comedy. You know, I have this app that I use. That my music is on the app. I'm not gonna plug my music or anything, but I'm just saying that I have this app. Okay, it has all my albums on it and everything, and it has a comedy channel. It's a radio app, but it has a comedy channel on it. And when I'm having a tough day and I get in the car and I listen to comedy, like, you know, it takes a while. It takes a few minutes. Okay, but after a few minutes, I start gravitating to the comedy. I start laughing. I start remembering jokes that I knew or whatever, like those kind of things, right? And then your mood starts to change. What's happening? Your energy is transmuting. That's a fancy word. It just means changing. It's changing from negative to positive. Okay, when you make yourself happy, and you can make yourself happy, okay, music, comedy, like enjoyable stuff, right, on the way home, okay? Sometimes it could be like just opening the windows and letting fresh air in and enjoying whatever, enjoying the drive, whatever it is. but make a conscious effort to transmute your energy so that by the time you get home, you don't bring the negativity in the house. That will help. So transmute your energy. You cannot extinguish energy. Einstein taught us that. Okay? So what about the energy in here? Okay? You're not your body, you're not your name, you're the energy that lives in here. So make sure that this energy is good. In Hawaii, we have a word called pono. Okay, when things are the way they should be, when things are in their best state, we call it pono. When things are pono. If things are not pono, something is corrupted somewhere. Okay, and I don't mean corruption like you see corruption in the news. I'm just talking about corrupted energy. Good energy that has been influenced otherwise. So it's important to take that break, transmute the energy, and bring good vibes home. Bring good vibes into the house. Bring good vibes into the family. Because family is important for people that have families. Okay, I don't have a family, so for me, I just bring it home for me. And you can do it for you if you're by yourself, if you're living alone, if you're single, you can do it for you that way. But just know that everything gravitates to like energy. Like energy gravitates to like energy, negative energy gravitates to negative energy. Misery loves company. You ever see a bunch of miserable people together? They love being miserable. And they will talk about everything and this and that. I mean, they'll be negative all day long. But they love it. Why? Because there's other people just like them that they're congregating with or discussing things with. It doesn't necessarily have to be good. But they feel good. Why? Because that's what they do. How did they get like that? Their subconscious. Their subconscious learned to be like that. And how does this affect other people? Well, human beings are very sensitive. Okay? Subconscious, culmination of all of your senses. Human beings are very sensitive. You may think you're not. You may think you don't pick up on things. Human beings become chameleons. We adapt to our surroundings. We adapt to our friend groups. We adapt to our co-workers. We adapt to our environment very easily. And that's why they say, show me 5 of your friends and I'll tell you who you are. Because those people that you're hanging out with, you're becoming like. Like attracts like. So, how do you change things? If you want to change things, you can change it. Okay, I knew this girl. She was very friendly with me for a while, and I taught her daughter, and she was a brilliant girl. She did not know how smart she was, but I saw how smart she was, and she always complained to me about, about not having about not having this, not having that, and drama at home and all kinds of stuff like that, right? Okay, so I told her, I said, all you gotta do is change your environment. And she goes, well, I live with my grandmother. I go, that's your problem. There you go. Change your environment. Well, eventually, okay, months and months go by, and then eventually she moves out. I guess she got a boyfriend, and she moved in with the boyfriend, and her life took off. She got a great job. She made a lot of money. She was happy. Of course, everybody has problems, right? So, problems don't go away. Problems transmute as well, okay? When you're making a little bit of money, you have certain problems. When you make a lot of money, You have bigger problems, different kind of problems, right? But your environment is very crucial to your development. Okay, so let's say this another way. Where you hang out, the people you hang out with. Good morning, Costas. The people you hang out with, the friends you have, the friend group you have. It's very important to surround yourself with good people. Because if you don't, you're going to become like who you hang out with. You're going to be susceptible to your environment. Because then you're going to start doing the things they do. You're going to start telling the kind of jokes they do. You're going to start using the phrases they do. Human beings do that, because we discover things, right? We look at somebody and go, wow, he's cool. He says, yeah, you. He's cool. So now you hang out with him. Now you say, yeah, you, right? You're going around, hey, yeah, you. Yeah, because it feels good. Because you thought it was cool. You see, it feels good. And now you got two guys, right? And you guys both say, yeah, you. And now you're high-fiving and, and you're having a good time. It's not always bad. It's not always bad at all. I'm just saying how human beings are. You have to pay attention to this one. Jesus Christ said the kingdom is in here. Okay, the kingdom. Seek first the kingdom and everything will be added to you. What does that mean? Go inside. Close your distractors like this. Okay, go inside. Ask, believe, receive. Start asking. You want to learn about something? Go in here. You have questions about what you should do about this decision, that decision? Go in here. Ask in here. Believe in your asking and you will receive. It's that simple. Things will be shown to you. You will see visions of things. Things will just appear. It will appear like it's a movie. It will appear like it's a vision, like it's something that you watch on a movie or something you see on a screen. It's going to be like that. And you will see possibilities. And when you see the possibilities, you're aware, a heightened sense of awareness, okay? Because you have prayed, okay? So prayer is important, okay? Prayer is important. But whether you're praying, you're intending, or you're wishing, you're committing the same action, okay? And this is why Jesus says, when you pray, go in your closet. Is he talking about the closet in your bedroom? No, he's talking about the temple. He's talking about this one. Go in your closet to pray. You don't need to be seen in the church standing up, waving your hands, throwing your hands in the air like you just don't care. Okay. Go in your closet. You don't need that. Okay, now church is good for fellowship. I gotta say that. Okay, church is good for fellowship. Church is good if you need someplace to donate your money so you can write it off on your taxes. Okay, church is good for a lot of things. But you were born with infinite knowledge. Because in here, you have the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. And the superconscious is God. You can talk to God in here. You can have conversations with God in here. All you have to do is ask. Just ask. Now, if you don't believe in God, okay, then if you're an atheist, maybe there's only the conscious and subconscious. And in that case, your subconscious is God. If you don't believe in a higher power. The Indian philosopher Shanakwa said, your feelings are your God. Why is that? How can your feelings be your God? Well, when you take thought or intention and you marry it with emotion, okay, it goes right into your subconscious. And what happens? It becomes a thing. It becomes a program. Intention, emotion, right? I want that car, and you're excited about it. Boom, there you go. Now you're on the car journey, because now your subconscious goes, oh, okay, look, hey, maybe you can get it this way. Maybe you can do this. Maybe you can do that. Maybe you can get a loan. Maybe you can save money. Maybe you can. Maybe you can. Maybe you can. Maybe you can. You see, infinite possibilities. There's not one way to the car. There's not two ways to the car. There's infinite possibilities to the car. And that's why the how is God's job. Okay, the how is God's job. The how is the universe's job. The how is infinite intelligence's job. However you believe. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. You know, I believe what I believe, but I'm not here pushing beliefs, is what I'm saying. But whether you believe in God or whether you don't believe in God, either way, you're a believer. Just understand that you're a believer. And because you're a believer, beliefs go into your subconscious. Okay, like the roots of a tree. Okay, now, the trunk of the tree is your paradigm, how you see the world, your attitude. Based upon what? Based upon the roots, how you believe. Okay? Now, the fruits of the tree up here are your actions. You will know them by their fruits. You will know them by the way they act. Through their actions. Remember that they say actions speak louder than words? That's their fruits. Okay, when you see somebody's fruits, when you see the way they act, you know what they're about. If you watch them long enough, right? You know, right? But actions speak louder than words. Talk is cheap. Anybody can talk. So, your beliefs down here in the roots of the tree affect the trunk of the tree. Your beliefs about the world, the way you see the world, the attitude you have about the world, or in general. And then the fruits of the tree are dictated by your paradigm. So you hear stuff like, well, you got to shift your paradigm. You got to change your paradigm. You don't have to change anything. You can just have the same life that you have now over and over and over and over and over. Unless there's something in your life you're not happy with. Okay? If there's something, excuse me, if there's something you're not happy with, just know you can change it. That's the good news. Okay? Now, can you just switch one action and then have a new result? Yeah, can. You're a human being. You can do anything. You're a co-creator with God. In here, with God, nothing is impossible. That's what they're talking about. When you hear Christians say, with God, everything is possible, or anything is possible, right? Because they're talking about in here, where the kingdom is. The kingdom is inside. Not out there, not up there. God is not up there. God is in here. God is in you. That's why they have that term, namaste, right? When you see Hindu people and they go, namaste. Namaste means the kingdom in me salutes the kingdom in you. Or said another way, the divinity in me. Okay, because God lives in here. Okay, we got this from the Hindus. We got this from India. Everything moved from the east to the west. East, Middle East, west. The sun rises in the east and it sets in the west. So the divinity in me salutes the divinity in you. The God part of me salutes or acknowledges the God part of you. And it is in this power that we have internally, through your subconscious mind, that you have the power to change your circumstances. Everything is energy. Mental discipline. I don't like to use the word discipline too much because it sounds like work. Let's say it another way. Mental habits. Okay, when you have good mental habits and you keep doing the same good mental habits, guess what happens? You know, the fruits on the tree up here, the actions, they're going to be good actions. And guess what you're going to get? You're going to get good results. And all you got to do is work on the roots. How do you do that? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. All day long. Okay, let's start with affirmations. Okay, are you gonna do something crazy like I am a billionaire? Maybe that might work. Start small. I am so happy and grateful now that I have $50. Thank you. And then watch for the $50 to show up. But you have to recognize it. Okay, you have to recognize it when it comes. In other words, what I'm saying is you have to see your blessings. You have to notice your blessings. If you don't see your blessings, if you don't notice your blessings, you cannot be grateful for them. See? So if you're grateful for, if you write an affirmation for $50, right? You write it out, thank you, all of that, okay? And then you see the $50 come and you go, that's my blessing. That's what I asked for. Thank you. Whoever you thank, superconscious, whoever. Thank you, Allah. Thank you, Jesus Christ. Thank you, Father God. Thank you, whatever. Okay? I say Father God, that's just me. But if you say that, right? If you're saying that, if you're acknowledging, now you're being grateful. Gratitude is the great multiplier because the superconscious hears you. Okay? The field, you know, that string theory we were talking about, that energetic field feels you. And this is why it's important to be in a positive emotion, in a good emotion, because then you make a positive imprint on the field. And it returns to you in kind. Your subconscious gets good messages. When your subconscious gets good messages, it's going to believe good things. Right? So your conscious mind is the one that thinks 80,000 thoughts a day. Out of those 80,000 thoughts, maybe 5 of them you think over and over and over throughout the day. Those slowly become beliefs in the subconscious. Now, the subconscious has a tendency to pull back, go back to the old habits, go back to the old paradigm, go back to the old ways. Okay? And this is why affirmations are important. This is why the pen is more powerful than the sword. Because now you can enforce these rules into your subconscious. Okay? So let me show you. This is the one I wrote this morning. Okay, you can see the date right there. You see the date? Okay, that's 8/18. That's today. This is the old one. Okay, now this is mental discipline. Let's just call it mental habits. Okay, but these are affirmations. It's not journaling. Okay, if you get in the habit of doing this, the pen is mightier than the sword because the pen imprints on your subconscious when you write. Okay, if you're doing this on your phone, if you're doing that, it's not going to go in your subconscious. Promise. You have to write it out. And a lot of people don't like to write nowadays, but you need to write it out. Be old school. Write it out. Even if it's just your affirmation. But this instrument right here is priceless. And it doesn't have to look fancy like this. You can get one of these. This is my favorite one. Actually, look, the ink is almost gone. Okay, the ink is like way down in here. Okay, so like, yeah, it's time for a new one of these. Okay, and I like those. I like the way it writes. You know, this one came to me from Japan. Thank you, Jay. Jay brought this from Japan for me. It's a really high class. It's got like 4 different kinds of ink. You know, really fancy. And I like it because it's big. And then when I teach you guys, I can show you guys, and I can just grab it, and it's big. It's easy to hold. Okay. So, do we have a question? King Doer, 23, do we have a question? Go ahead. You can ask me anything. Can you repeat back that statement, sir? It makes a lot of sense. What? Yeah, sure, I'd be happy to. Can you write that again? What statement? I made a lot of statements, I'm sorry. I don't mean to ignore you guys or anything like that. I'm just teaching, so I'm just doing my thing. But yeah, I will. And tell me what statement about what, and I'll repeat it. So anyway, like I was saying, right? This is gold. This is gold because when you write it, it goes right into your memory. Okay, now some people go, well, I have a bad memory, you know? No, you don't. Your subconscious is memory. 95% of what you do is memory. You don't need to learn how to drive the car every day. You know how. You don't have to learn how to brush your teeth every day. It's committed to your subconscious. Your subconscious drives the car. I'll prove it to you. Okay, you're driving down the street, right? Monday through Friday, you go the same way to work. On Saturday, you need to go to the store to buy groceries. You get in your car, but you're thinking about something else, and you're driving. And pretty soon you go, oh man, I'm driving to work. And you correct the route, and then you go to the store, okay? Your subconscious drives the car, not you. Okay, you're driving the car from memory. Okay, so that's just an example. But this one, yeah, use a pen. Okay, so do we have the new comment, the new question? I hate when I miss questions. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, I'll put it up again. Jay, you can pin the comment and I will address it. So really what I'm saying though, first identify what in your life is going wrong. Not enough money? Fixable. Not enough health? Fixable. Your subconscious can heal you. Now, I make no medical claims, okay? I'm not saying like if you have cancer, you can rely on your subconscious, okay? Yeah, you're gonna have to seek a medical professional. You're gonna have to go to, like that. But your subconscious can prevent you from being ill. Your subconscious can ease the pain. Okay, your subconscious can develop good habits that will lead to wellness if you're sick. Your subconscious can get rid of your cold. I hardly get sick. You guys have been seeing me now on the live every day for how many months? I never got sick. Okay, because I have it in my mind, in my subconscious, right? And I wrote it down before. And how do I write that? You don't write down, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm not sick. Where's my pen? Here you go. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm not sick. You don't write that. When you put not, or you use a negative like not, okay, it's gonna call attention to whatever the next word is in your subconscious. So it's gonna like highlight that word. So it's gonna make it opposite of what you're writing because it's not gonna recognize the negative word. So use positive words, okay? I am so happy and grateful now that I am always well. Thank you. There you go. That's your affirmation. Write it like that in the positive form. Okay, no negatives. Okay, did we get the question yet? I'm trying to check. Yeah, King Doer 23, which statement? I'll be happy to elaborate on that. So anyway, so that's affirmations. Meditation, just be still for 5 to 10 minutes a day. I'm here for free for you guys. Okay, this is all free. I'm not here to sell you anything. You don't have to buy anything from me. Okay, I'm not here to like launch products. I'm not here to push PDFs and go to the website and download. No, you don't have to do any of that. I'm here for you guys. Okay, my company is called Here For You Life Coaching. If you go on Google and plug in Here For You Life Coaching, Honolulu, Hawaii, you'll see that we only have 5-star ratings. We only have 5-star ratings. And that's because what we teach is solid. What we teach is what is. We just, and we point you towards the kingdom. Okay, but because you have eyes, you look away from the kingdom. The kingdom is in here. Okay, but the good news is you can form good habits just like bad ones. Same. Easy. Okay, you can get a bad habit really easy. Okay, but you can change it to a good habit real easy. It's just a routine. Develop a routine. Very easy. Okay, it's not hard. A lot of people think, when you say words like discipline, they think it's hard. It's not hard. Discipline just means repetition. Okay, I'm gonna get up, I'll make my bed every day. I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna brush my teeth every day. Okay, those are good habits, by the way. Okay, so I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna exercise every day. Good habit. There you go. Once you do it like the 3rd day, you're in the groove already. Your subconscious got it. Your subconscious is like, oh, we're exercising? Okay. And then boom, Repetition. So don't think of it as work. Think of it as repetition. Okay? Don't think of it as discipline. Think of it as application and discipline. You're applying this and you're doing it over and over and over. What happens if you stop doing it? What happens if there's an emergency thing and then you get distracted? You got to go take care of a loved one. You got to go do something like that, right? Then you get pulled away from it. Okay? That's when you use the affirmation to pull you back when you're done. When you're finished taking care of that loved one, when you're finished doing what you got to do because it pulled you away from your exercise, okay, start writing. I am so happy and grateful now that I attend the gym every day. Thank you. There you go. Boom. Now you repeat that. And pretty soon, guess what? You're back in the gym. Because that's how our subconscious works. This is why I want to sell journals, to fulfill my desire to inform others of the power of putting. Yeah, so fill in, be careful how you teach journals to people, okay? Because journals are, What I'm teaching is affirmations. Journaling is different. If you're writing about the drama you experienced during the day, you're going to carry it into tomorrow and whatever. So be careful about journaling. How do you teach journaling? Let me know. So be careful about journaling. Let me just say a few things about journaling, okay? If you're journaling, you're writing about things that happened, okay? You're writing about the past. Now, if you're writing about successes that happened, okay? Now you're doing something good. Why? Because you're reminding your subconscious that you were successful with these things that you're writing down that happened. If you're writing about negative things that happened, I got to the office late and so was in a bad mood and and you're journaling like that, that's not good. Because you take yesterday and you bring it into today. Okay? You take what was wrong yesterday instead of leaving it there, and now you brought it into today. Okay. Is feeling stronger than thought? Yes, all day long, Costas. So it depends on what you put desire on paper. Yeah, so that's affirmations, fill in. There you go. Same thing. We're talking about the same thing. So we pinned another comment. Oh yeah, that's your comment. Okay, thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay. No, just the journal, the book itself. You're not teaching journaling. Just have a notebook to write. Oh, okay. So yeah. So it would also be important, fill in, to urge people how to journal. Teach them how to journal too. Yeah, things you want is not called journaling. It's called affirmations. I am so happy and grateful now that I have $100 extra this month. Thank you. That's not journaling. Journaling is like a record of what you did. Journaling is like, yeah, exactly. I get you. I feel you. But thank you for that. Thank you for bringing that up. That's important. Yeah. So journaling, right? If you're journaling about stuff that went wrong, if you're journaling about drama that happened at your job, if you're journaling about that, let it go. Let it go. You don't need to bring it into today. Leave it in yesterday. Leave it alone. Let it go. Okay. So that's important to make that distinguishing, to make that difference, to distinguish it from each other. So affirmations is the instructions that you're giving your subconscious. Okay, now you don't have to, if you're writing about something, you want to write it in the present tense. I am so happy and grateful now that, okay, because you don't want to write things like I'm hoping for $100. Okay, you want to be definite about it. Write it in the present tense. But I do call it a journal. Okay, I see. Yeah, as long as people are clear on what they're doing with the journal, how they're journaling. Yeah, it won't matter to you, but it just matters how many journals you sell. So yeah, good luck with that. So anyway, but yeah, you have to write in the present tense. Write like you already have it and feel like you already have it, because that projection of good energy, that projection of good emotions, of positive emotions, will start to change the field and make it work in your favor. okay, that string theory field that we talked about earlier, okay, it will make an impression on that. Now, some people say God is energy because everything is energy, okay? If that's so, then God is in here. God is the energy in here, okay? You're a co-creator with God. You're a little piece of God right in here, okay? That's your energy. So keep it happy, keep it joyful, keep it productive, keep it busy, keep it going, okay? Because when it starts to slow down, when you start to get depressed, when you start to feel low, when you start to not feel anything, you're going to notice that the quality of your life goes down. Okay, because everything out there reacts to everything in here. When everything in here is happy, everything out here is happy. Okay, it's universal law. Okay, it's the universal law of correspondence, which tells us whatever is going on in here is going on right outside here. Okay, so if you're disorganized in here, your desk is going to look disorganized. Okay, you cannot have an orderly desk and be disorganized in here. It's going to be a reflection. When somebody picks you up and you go in their car and their car is nice and neat and clean, guess what? They're nice and neat and clean in here. In here. Okay. So just be aware of that. This is just something to be aware of. And go research. Go do research on universal laws. It doesn't have anything to do against religion or against whatever. It just is. We're human beings. We were designed very intricately. We were made in the image of God. So if you were made in the image of the Creator, you have a lot of power. Okay? You're a co-creator with God. You are a part of that. And you can use it to your benefit. Okay? You just got to do positive stuff. Now, if you do negative stuff, you'll get negative results. And if that's your goal, just know you can do that too. Oh, you're not concerned with the journals? Okay. Then maybe give them some instruction on it then. Yeah, that would be good. Oh, okay, Philin. Yeah. So you do. I see you do crafts then, right? Philin crafty. I see. Yeah, that's nice. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Keep doing that, and explain to people how to do the the journaling. So yeah, you know, it depends on what you want. You want bad stuff, then okay, go do bad things. You want good stuff, go do good things. It's so simple. Okay, happiness is a choice. That's the last thing I'm gonna say. Thank you, Jay. Jay is going. See you tomorrow. That's my cue. But happiness is a choice. Okay, you choose happiness first, then success comes. Okay, society teaches it to you backwards. You know why? Because they're selling you stuff. So they go, oh, you have this vacuum, your work will be easy, you're gonna be happy. It doesn't work like that. Okay, you have this car, you're gonna be happy when you get this car. It doesn't work like that. That's commercialism. Okay, that's capitalism. That's different. Okay, it works the other way. You choose happiness first, then you become successful. Okay, it works in that way. So yeah, just make a note on that. Okay, it's time to say goodbye to our international feed. We're here every morning at 7 a.m. Hawaii time. My website, I'm not here to sell you anything, but my website is hereforyoulifecoaching.com, just in case you want to go check it out, whatever. But